Hello and welcome to the Whitman Freedom Team program. This is our November program and we'll be talking to a very special guest, Chief Tim Hanlon of the Whitman Police Department. I just want to allow you to develop some ideas of what the Whitman Police Department does and the interaction between the Whitman Freedom Team and the Police Department and all of our efforts to make Whitman a much better place to live, even though it is a very good place to live as well. So we'll turn it over to Tom Evans, and he'll introduce the chief, and we'll get through a number of questions and issues related to policing and community service in Whitman. Tom?
Thank you, Michael. It's my pleasure today to be speaking with our guest, which is Chief Tim Hanlon. Tim Hanlon is also a member of the Whitman Freedom Team, which we appreciate tremendously, and it's made a difference in some of the decisions we've made and some of the directions we go into. But without further ado, I'm going to ask you up first, how did you get to be into the Whitman Police Department, and how long have you been chief?
Yeah, well, first off, thanks for having me. As you may know, today is Kindness Day, so good to be here on Kindness Day. I don't think we prepared that. Yeah. But anyway, so I became police chief when Scott Benton retired in 2019. I've been the police chief through COVID and police reform, which were two challenging times. Prior to that, I was the deputy chief from 2012, and I first came on the department in 2000 with now Lieutenant Christine May Stafford and Sergeant Matt Keneally. So both town residents.
Our kids went to school with her.
Yeah, there you go. Right. There you go. So I grew up in Hanover, and prior to that, prior to this job, getting on full time, I was a civilian dispatcher and a special officer in Hanover and Norwell, going back to the 90s. So I've been around. I went to Bridgewater State. Actually did my internship here in Whitman under Chief Schneier back in the early 90s. I was put through the part-time academy then and went on, and kind of that's where I first started my law enforcement career was right here in Whitman. Married a Whitman girl, and here we are. Stayed in the town. It's a great place to be.
Well, good.
If I can ask you, are you required as a chief to go through any special training now or in the coming? I mean, if you're a chief, are you a chief, or is it something that requires constant renewal and rejuvenation and reform?
We all go through annual in-service, so there is the initial police academy, and then we're in a small department, so you basically have to be cross-trained in a lot of different areas. I was fortunate enough to be assigned as the detective early on, so I've been basically on call for this town for almost the entire 25 years that I've been here, as far as pick up the phone and get a detective in here at 2 in the morning and things like that. And then, of course, when you go into administration, it's never ending. So if something is happening, we need to know about it. As far as training goes, there's nothing specialized. You just pick it up as you go. I've been through a number of trainings. One of them is the FBI's National Academy. I went through that back in 2014. Not required to be a chief, but obviously helpful. I have a master's degree in criminal justice administration. I did the Suffolk sessions for municipal management as far as law enforcement goes. So there is training out there. There's also other organizations that we participate in. Plymouth County Chiefs. I was the president a few years ago of that association. Southeastern Massachusetts Chiefs, Mass Chiefs, International Association of Chiefs of Police. So
you're a busy guy.
Yeah. And currently, in addition to being the chief, I run the Southeastern Mass Law Enforcement Council's search and rescue team. So we're anywhere from upwards of here is kind of like the northern border down to like the New Bedford, down that way, Fall River, all those, and everywhere kind of in between. So that gets challenging. I get called out to that. We were just in Taunton the other day searching for someone, and we located them. If you saw,
I did.
Probably about a month and a half ago now, we were down the east end of town looking for somebody who was missing for a couple of days, and we found them as well. So
Yeah.
it's rewarding for sure,
Yeah.
but there are those challenges
Yeah.
that always occur.
Yeah.
You know, I hope the people who are watching realize what we have here. We have not only somebody who is bright, but dedicated and really a jack of all trades. And I commend you on that, because that takes a lot of time and effort to do those things besides doing your job and having a family and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, so that's good. Tim, can you talk about some of the major issues of your problems that you're facing, your department's facing right now, without feeling that you're pressured to tell us anything other than that? What are the problems? How much time do you need, right?
Yeah, they call that a loaded question. Well, there's a laundry list of those, and I guess initially it's certainly staffing, manpower issues. You know, the profession has kind of taken a hit over the years as far as police reform goes, and we are less trusted than I think we were ever in the past, although we haven't changed from a professional standpoint. We have it pretty good here in Whitman as far as being supported, and we appreciate that. So one of the other biggest challenges is, in current topics, is the budget and being properly staffed, properly funded, and we haven't been properly funded for a long time. We get there, but we've slowly kind of built that back to where it's more manageable. So filling shifts becomes an issue, and then putting those people into place. So between the budget, hiring is an issue, because the way that we've been portrayed as a profession, not everyone wants to do this job anymore, and that's unfortunate, because it's still to me a great profession, and we appreciate all the support we have. There's always those naysayers who think the police should be defunded, but I think we've seen that doesn't really work.
Yeah.
Across the board, it just costs.
Chief, on a normal day, how many members of your staff are available to respond to a particular problem, whatever it is? I mean, is that talking about 3, 4, 5, 7? How many people per shift, let's say, on a normal day?
Right. So the staffing changes. So during the day, we have some administrative people. The courts are open, so we have a prosecutor on during the day shift. School is in session. When school is in session, we have a DARE SRO, school resource officer, as well. And then usually what we have tried to do is have a detective working from 8 a.m. to midnight. The only shifts we don't provide a full-time detective on is the overnights. So you can go from anywhere from 8, if you include the deputy chief and myself to respond, which we have done as well, down to 4 on the overnights from midnight to 8, and that includes a desk officer and then 3 officers on the road, and we do go down to a minimum staffing, so that would be 2 officers on the road, which usually
those are in separate cars?
Kind of like separate cars, one-man cars, but it's like cross your fingers and hope something major doesn't happen.
Yeah.
And that's the challenge with filling shifts, putting your budget together and make sure you make it, I call it the finish line, which is June 30th, that without any issues that you're going to either be asking for more money or anything like that.
It's funny because what happens with a lot of people who go into their work for the day, you might have an idea of what you have to do, and all of a sudden there's an accident. There's another accident. There's some things that you weren't planning on doing, but you have to take the staff that you have and deal with that. Do you rely at all on surrounding towns sometimes when there's, like say, searching for somebody and things like that?
Sure. So we will pull from the surrounding towns, and usually if they, we all hear about what's happening either by the radio, someone's in tune, hey, there's something going on in the next town or in our town, and they usually reach out as we reach out to the other towns. In the case of that particular search that I was talking about, so it's a regional team, so we have team members in all of those member jurisdictions, and they all come up. And so that's how we kind of help each other out. In addition to if something happens that's not that full scale, like a 2 car crashes.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
2 of our officers go to one, and one's at the other one,
Yeah.
and they need assistance. Then we'll pull from another town. If it gets a little bit bigger, we will call in our own personnel, either before shift or hold them over after the shift, depending upon what time that occurs. But you know, emergencies are emergencies. I can't predict when they're going to happen,
Right.
and so we deal with that the best as we can. And being fully staffed is part of that. Even at fully staffed, we're overwhelmed from time to time.
You talk about an image or the way that things have gone, sometimes anti-police and so forth. I can think of 10 or 20 things since I've lived here where the police have always shown caring. I can remember one person shoveling old ladies. She used to be my aide. She was 80-something years old, and they always drove by and shoveled her driveway. Not BNS, but that's only one thing. But there's been working with kids in the school. They didn't have to do that, you know?
No.
And we didn't have a DARE officer at that time, but we did, you know?
You're dating yourself now.
Really? Well, that's all right.
Chief, you hear a good deal about the drug problem and vandalism and graffiti, and are those still top concerns, or are we missing? I mean, right now, if you were to talk about what are the priorities in terms of crime and wrongdoing, what's up there? What's 1, 2, 3, or your major concerns as you deal with the situation in Whitman?
So a lot of issues, some of them are persistent. In other words, you could have a neighbor dispute between 2 neighbors that's just ongoing, the Hatfields and the McCoys, and they just not going to get along. And that's difficult for us to manage. As far as the drug use and abuse, that has been a scourge across the nation, and certainly it hits everywhere, including Whitman, as well as the surrounding towns. And Whitman is close-knit, and so we have a pretty good handle on who's who, but sometimes it's developing a case takes a lot longer because of a lot of reasons, constitutional issues and everything else. We can't just go barging into somebody's house because someone suspects something. We have to have evidence, and certainly that leads us. So sometimes those drug investigations are lengthy, and sometimes they don't always pan out for whatever reason. But we have a pretty good handle on who's who. Whitman is 7 square miles, just under 7.
Yeah.
So what we know, what we can prove are kind of 2 different things.
Yeah.
And then do you just lock people up and throw away the key, or is it a situation where other services might be more beneficial than throwing the book at them, let's say.
It's funny you mention that, because one of the questions I had for you is restorative justice utilized with youth in particular, that you don't throw away the key with these kids. Is that something?
So the school resource DARE officer, the program has been very good along the way. Officer Poirier is our current
Mark?
school, DARE resource officer, and prior to that, Kevin Harrington was, and he has NOLA now.
He has the dog.
He got promoted, so we had to put him in a supervisory role, and that opened up the position for Mark. So with that being said, again, we kind of know who's who and who might need help and who doesn't.
Yeah.
And so what happens is those people, we try and intervene, and not in a criminal way, like we're going to take charges out on people, certainly the youth. They've given a number of bites of the apple, so to speak. So we don't, charging someone, especially a youth, is never the first option. It may progress to that, but it's a progression. So just like progressive discipline, someone does something, hey, don't do that again. But if they do it 5 more times, then eventually you have to take action. And that's where we see what happens, certainly with the youth. And, those things certainly have to occur in some cases, and that's part of accountability. If you can hold someone accountable and make sure that, whatever path you choose is kind of stick and send the message home, that's all we really need to do.
Do you ever hear from the public saying society's too easy on people who are substance abusers, and when they don't know the whole details, whether it occurred because of a medical situation? I mean, do you hear that? Just they should do this. Do you hear that attitude or that?
I don't hear that we're too lenient necessarily. I know
general people in general.
If there's just as many of that people as other people who are saying we're too harsh. So at the end of the day, there's always people on the other side of the aisle who are going to disagree with us, and that's fine. I don't think people take into account the full nature of the situation. So for us, the laws are black and white, or they try to be as black and white as possible. Very strict as far as the guidelines. When you can charge somebody, it's not the law. It's usually the situation that applies. So if the situation doesn't apply, well, what are the differences? And why is this situation different? So we always take that into account when we decide to charge somebody or not charge them. And if there is a better way to do that, then we seek that out. So there's a couple of initiatives. One really didn't get off the ground at all because it took both parties, like the neighbor dispute I mentioned. If the two neighbors decide they have opposing viewpoints, let's say, they had something over at court where you could just give them a slip. Hey, if, you come at this time and you come at this time, and it's mediation, and we'll try and figure this out. So what are the issues and how do we resolve it so that the police don't have to show up all the time and get involved in something that they really should be able to be worked out between you. And that's prior to court action. But the problem with that was you needed both parties to agree to show up, and that's the part that wasn't happening. And now, another thing that the Plymouth County District Attorney is doing is it's called a community court. And prior to going over to any type of a formal action as far as charging someone, we can basically hold it over their head and say, go to this community court that occurs every Thursday. I think it's at the library, and this is a brand new
concept
program that's come out in Plymouth County, and work out the differences and see if we can come to some other arrangement other than go to court. Here are the charges. Here are the penalties, whether it's a fine, jail time, both, and go from there and see if they can. Hey, let's resolve this without tying up the courts.
Chief, over the last, let's say, 3 or 5 years, have you seen a increase or decrease in terms of crime and the challenges that you face? Are we in a better place now under your leadership? I know you're going to say yes, because both I speak for Tom. I mean, we're satisfied that we're living in a great town, which is generally peaceful. But are you seeing that as well? I mean, over the last couple of years, is there anything out that stands out that are challenges?
Previously, when the whole opioid crisis kind of hit, and that hit with the pharmaceutical level, and then that changed over because it was cheaper to heroin, and now it's fentanyl and carfentanil. Every time we think we have a grasp on it, they up the ante and something else comes out that's either cheaper, more easily made, and then easily distributed and more addictive. So I will say back in the day there were a lot more, from what I remember as being the detective, robberies that occurred, whether it's convenience stores, home invasion, where someone might be storing something, either cash, illicit drugs, or both. And so those seem to be a little bit less than they used to be, and but they still occur, unfortunately. Things like, and I'm going to knock on some wood here that
I will.
Bank robberies. I investigated a few of them. I haven't heard or seen one in recent years. I'm not sure how much COVID kind of when it shut down. When it shut down the country and the world, really, that shut down everybody. It doesn't mean that bad things weren't happening. It was just, it wasn't out forward facing. It wasn't out in the public. I don't think as much as it was prior to that. And so I really don't know the answer to that. It seems to be a little better than it was. And we're doing everything we can to make the people in
accept
this
my
community
congratulations on your work, because I know that it's generally a peaceful and quiet and cooperative town, and obviously the police have something to do with that in terms of bringing about a situation where people are trying to get along with each other.
Yes, and a big part of that is visibility, being accessible. People are more accessible by means of social media, unfortunately,
Could be a problem.
than it is face to face.
Yeah.
And so we lose some of those social skills that we kind of had. Now it's just easier to put something out there under your social media profile than actually sitting down and talking with everybody. And whatever your opinion is, one side or the other, or right down the middle, it just seems to be, it's easier for people to express themselves online rather than in person in that respect. So I think we
They're
see
invisible too, which leads them to do things or say things that probably are not acceptable to most people.
Right.
Yeah.
But we try and get out there and be proactive in the community. Of course, that took a backseat again during COVID. But
Since we're neighboring with Brockton, do you see some carryover from some of the problems associated with Brockton into Whitman, or is that not necessarily the case?
I think.
And I don't want to blame Brockton, but I know it's a bigger city, it's a more diverse city, that kind of thing.
Sometimes I think of Whitman as, like I call it, suburban Brockton to a certain extent, or a suburb of Brockton, which we are. Suburban Boston would be,
Quincy.
Yeah, exactly. So along those lines, do we see it? Yeah, it passes through town, it hits town, but the same issues go across the borders of the town. So it's not town to town, city to city. We're all kind of facing the same challenges, whether we're in a big city or not. It just seems to be you're going to hear about it more when it occurs in Brockton, because it's such a bigger population-wise, size-wise, that you're going to hear about something happening in Brockton much more than you would in Whitman. And if you just took, pockets of Brockton, some would be probably similar in reported issues. To Whitman, and then some not so much. Some would be a lot more. So it depends on where you are.
I'm going to switch it up a little bit. We have a brand new DPW down the street, your new neighbor.
Yes.
And the police station is relatively new. I've heard people say, "Oh, why do they need that for?" Can you tell? I took the tour with him. What an unbelievable facility, and what you went from to what you needed and what you received. It should be explained a little bit, because.
Sure.
People think, wow, look at that big building. Well, it is a big building, but there's a reason for it.
But it used to be the whole school, too.
Hey, settle down. That's right. That's right.
Yeah, we took some of the commemorative, the pieces
Stuff
that were out on the big cement pieces that were on going up the stairs.
Yeah,
now those are right next to the sign out front. So we kind of paid tribute to the school in that way, at least. So the old station was not built, I don't believe, to be a police station, although that's what we used it for. The jail cells, there were 6 of them, they had the bars. Bars don't conform, they stopped conforming, so they had to put big sheets of plexiglass on those to make them compliant. The other things were storage area, locker room. None of those were any good for the current department moving forward. So we had to move. It was more of a necessity than a wish list. And you've seen the DPW, same thing along those lines. It finally occurred. In fact, they were talking about the DPW in association with the police department. I'm glad we got ours built first. So evidence, evidence storage and everything else. So it's now a proper facility. And so
even the way that the prisoners or suspects or whatever, that people who are brought in to the building is much safer for everybody both outside and inside the unit. Can you talk a little bit how they go from one section to the other?
Yeah, so the old station was
You're
not
in.
secure.
You're in.
We've had people come right through, like our booking area, civilians from the town hall, because there's a walkway through there
Yeah.
and just kind of barge in on us, and that's a safety issue. So we fixed that. So with the new station, there's a sally port. So you pull into a secure area to start with. We didn't have that before. You're locked in, and then from there we can handcuff somebody to the rail and they have a seat, and then we go through the booking procedure. We take whatever they have on them for personal belongings, stow them away.
Yeah.
They answer the booking questions. We take their fingerprints and picture, mugshot, and then they get placed into a cell until they're either bailed or the next court day, whichever comes first.
How many cells in the new?
So there's a big holding cell is one, and that's temporary. If there was a big house party, let's say, for example, and then there are 4 male cells, 2 female cells, and a juvenile cell, and those you have to abide by strict rules as far as.
Of course, we'll never
those
see
are
those
housed.
anyway, right? 'Cause we-
You can come for a visit.
I took the tour, Michael. I do have a question. You were our guest. You had us as guests for quite a few times in the community room. Can you tell us how the community room is used and how valuable it is? Because a lot of other places, there's no place to go.
Yeah, so we have that. It's a great place for us to conduct training for our department.
Yeah.
The DPW has done the same. The fire department, should they need it, to come over. If there's some big event, whether it's a weather event,
Yeah.
we can put up an operations center in there if need be. And then outside of that, a lot of community programs use that. Football, different organizations come in, and they use it from time to time. And all you have to do is call and say, is it available from this time to that time? And we just run the schedule for you, and you come in and you can use the big TV screens and set up whatever you need for whatever purpose it is you're doing.
It is really a very convenient spot, and plenty of parking too. That's another thing that's really important. Usually, you don't have to park on a street or anything, So
Right,
that's
there's
good.
no
and you
meters.
feel safe.
And there's no meters out there either. Not yet, anyway.
We're almost out of
Yeah,
time.
Chief,
I just want to ask one more question. Auxiliary police.
You're
their role.
running this show.
Yeah.
The auxiliary police. What's their role, and how do you use them for the most part?
So the auxiliaries were a great asset. Again, from police reform. Unfortunately, one of the tenets of that was to do away with the part-time academies. So there are no more part-time officers who have attended what they call a reserve intermittent, permanent intermittent police academy, which is just an abridged version of the full academy. And so what they did was, for the people who were part-times, they created something called the Bridge Academy, which is additional training and experience hours that you could get a waiver from the MPTC Training Council to be considered a full-time officer after that. And the officers we have kind of stuck with that, and not every department offered it. I thought it would be valuable to us. And so a lot of them have gone through the process, and now all they're waiting for is they need some more hours to get it done, to get certified. We use them as a complement to the full-time officers, so that you'll see them out at parades, any functions we have going on, in addition to the full-time officers. And so they've been a big help along the way, as far as manpower issues and going on. So
one
and
final question.
they've done patrol up until recently, so our numbers
I
have
know we haven't
dwindled.
seen them as much.
Yeah.
One final question.
Sure.
How can the Whitman Freedom Team help your employees and your force? And is there anything that you've done that has helped us, or is there anything that you would say you would need or would request?
Yeah, I think it's been a great partnership to start off with. I'm glad you decided to put this into existence. And I think you're doing a great job so far. I don't think there's a whole myriad of things that might be problematic. Every once in a while, something will pop out, the swastikas that get
Yep.
spray painted
Yep.
here and there. I don't necessarily think that is a product of hate necessarily. I think it's they're not educated properly to what that actually symbol means
Right.
to a lot of people,
Right.
and so it's more the education
Right.
level than it is. We're not spreading hate around here. I think we're on the right track
Yeah.
as far as educating people to get the word out there that if you do this, you might think it's a joke or it's not
Yeah.
in the same vein that other people look at it. So it's a symbol, unfortunately.
Yeah,
And
of something bad.
exactly. And I don't think the people who put those there were old enough probably to
Right.
realize it.
Right.
Maybe I'm stereotyping a little bit, but
I don't think you are.
I don't think it was. I don't think it was an adult,
Yeah.
skinhead, neo-Nazi person who's trying to do that.
The message is, parents, be aware of it, educate your kids, talk about situations that are hurtful to other people.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mike?
Chief Tim Hanlon, we want to thank you for visiting us today in the Whitman Freedom Team program. One of the things that we emphasize is trust here, and I think that what you have done and is help to develop a trust with the police department and create a community spirit here. So I personally, I know Tom will join me with that. I want to thank you for all your efforts to make Whitman a better place. I want to thank also the Duval's Pharmacy for their support of our program and all those people who have provided us with a great deal of support and financing as we develop our programs. And I know Tom is going to talk about some special events that are occurring in the next couple of months.
Sure. First of all, we are going to be issuing a calendar, a Whitman Freedom Team calendar, a community calendar that features photos of some particularly monuments, buildings, events, and each one fits in a slot. And like Memorial Day might be the flag or the statue over at this park. But we are doing that with the intention of providing something that will explain or will be an example of how you can help. And the money that we would use, we would be working with families and particularly groups of kids, and that's really our point, to start and educate kids so that we can have the financial well-being to do that. And then on January 16th, we have something really good. It's called the Funkin' Dunkin', and that's a band developed by a former teacher who I think is one of the best guys. He has a group that has been working from last month until January 16th. It will be at the Knights of Columbus in Whitman, and there'll be food and entertainment.
And door prizes?
Door prizes. One of the door prizes is something you probably won't see. It is a free ride in an airplane for two. And then there's two of them, so there'll be two chances.
Around Southeastern Mass, right?
Southeastern Mass, yeah. And then there are a lot of other really fine things. So I hope we can have your support. I thank you so much. I really appreciate it. It makes a difference for us who we know together. All we are the communicators, and hopefully we can get people to understand that we mean this. We don't judge people, but we want people to get along, and we want people to be treated the way they should be treated. Yeah.
Before we break here for the show, I just want to remind you that we're on the local cable channel and on a regular basis, so you can tune in and hear the chief talk for another half an hour or more. We're also on YouTube as well. So we want to thank all the people behind the scenes here, Rob and his crew, to make this program accessible and rewarding for the people in Whitman to find out a little bit more about the Whitman Freedom Team and what we're doing and what we hope to do in the future. So I'll let Tom close it up.
Well, all I want to say is thank you again, Chief. I want to thank the cable station here, and Michael for your assistance too. See you next time in December.